What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. Today I'm going to share with you some recent returns that I just got back into the mail. So let me just get right into this. And the first one is postmarked from Dallas, Texas. And it is from Texas native Charles Hudson on 1, 2, 3 is a Yankee, and a 4th is a Detroit Tiger. So Hudson, a Texas native, played high school baseball in Texas, then later played his college baseball at Prairie View A&M University in Prairie View, Texas. He was selected in the 12th round of the 1981 draft by the Philadelphia Phillies. Hudson would spend a couple seasons in the minor leagues for the Phillies until 1983, when he was called up in May to make his major league debut, actually May 31st, to make his major league debut with the Phillies. Well, he was a starter for the Phillies in the 83 season, and in 26 starts, he split his record at 8 wins and 8 losses, but he had a pretty good ERA at just 3.35. Well, the following year in 84, he was back on the Phillies major league roster. However, his record fell to 9-11 that season, and his ERA jumped up a little bit above 4. In 1985, he again would return to the Phillies starting rotation, but would split some time in the bullpen with the Phillies, finishing the year with an 8-13 record. 1986, he would again split time between the starting rotation and the bullpen and would compile a 7-10 record after the 86 season. Well, after the 1986 season, he was then traded from the Phillies to the New York Yankees for Mike Easlier and Tommy Barrett. He would spend 2 seasons with the Yankees. Well, his first year with the Yankees actually yielded his most wins of his entire career in 1987, where he won 11 games for the Yankees and had an ERA of just 3.61 while splitting time between the bullpen and being a spot starter. He would return in 1988 to the Yankees, and he would have a .500 record and again would split time between the bullpen and as a starter. In spring training of 1989, on March 23rd, the Yankees decided to trade Hudson to the Detroit Tigers for third baseman Tom Brookins. He would spend 1 year with Detroit in 1989, where his record would slip to 1-5 and his ERA ballooned to 6.35. After the 89 season with the Tigers, they granted him free agency, and he did not pitch in the majors from 1990 through 1994. However, in 1995, after the strike-shortened season of 1994, he attempted to make a comeback with the Chicago Cubs. However, the Cubs decided to let him go, and he did not make the team with the Chicago Cubs. So after his comeback attempt in 1995, I don't have any further information on what Mr. Hudson, did. Obviously, he moved back to Texas. One thing I do want to point out, and I'm going to post the video up here in the corner, is, and also at the end of this and down in the description, is the reason I wanted to share this one with you is Mr. Hudson was actually featured in that Buyer Beware episode that I did, a little while back. And if you remember, somebody actually signed the card Charles Chuck Wagon Hudson or something like that. So I might do just a screenshot of that right here real quick just so you can see that. But if you get a chance, definitely check out that video. But we'll move on to the next one. All right, this one I'm pretty excited to get back. It's postmarked from Las Vegas, Nevada. And this is the reason that I am excited is, here we go again with trying to get another one of these 4-player cards signed. And I got a return from Roy Thomas of the Astros on 1. And not to mention Senior League card number 1, Senior League card number 3, or 2, I should say, and 3. So 3 Senior League cards, his 78 tops there. And I also sent him this 84 '84 tops as well. However, he signed it in kind of a dark spot in thin blue Sharpie, so it's really hard to see the signature on that one. But I guess when I sent it, I wasn't thinking outside the box of, darkness of the card, because I probably have a couple other cards that I probably could have sent instead of that one. But I just look at that one as the bonus fifth one, because I normally don't send more than 4 to somebody, because I was more concerned about getting these 4 done, which I'm really happy with the results. So let me tell you about Roy Thomas. Like I said, I'm going to try to get this signed by Craig Mitchell and Dennis Lamp. Unfortunately, Cardell Camper is no longer with us, so I never will actually complete this card. I actually wrote Dennis Lamp, I would say, probably at the beginning of the COVID crisis back in 2020. And for some reason, I think I'm the only one that didn't get a return from him. I'm going to chalk that one up as must have got lost in the mail, because I know Dennis Lamp is an excellent through the mail signer. I had never written him before, and I'm going to obviously probably send this off to him after I get Mitchell or vice versa. So let me tell you about Roy Thomas and his career in baseball. Standing at 6'5", Roy Thomas was drafted out of high school in California by the Philadelphia Phillies in the first round of the 1971 MLB June Amateur Draft. He played nearly 4 years in the Phillies system after signing, but in December of 1975, he was traded by the Phillies to the Chicago White Sox in the deal that brought Jim Cott to the Phillies. So if you remember when Jim Cott was traded to the Phillies, Roy Thomas was part of that package. After spending 1 year in the Chicago White Sox organization, he would be drafted in the expansion draft by the Seattle Mariners going into the 1977 season. Well, unfortunately, the Seattle Mariners did not retain his rights, and right before the 1977 season started, he was shipped to the Houston Astros for Larry Milbourne. He would spend the majority of 1977 in AAA, but in September of 1977, he would get called up by the Houston Astros, where he would appear in 4 relief appearances, posting a 2.84 ERA for the Astros in just over 6 innings pitched. Well, in 1978, he was sent back to AAA, and during the 1978 season, the St. Louis Cardinals claimed him off of waivers and then added him to their roster. He would spend the remainder of June all the way to the end of the season in St. Louis, where he posted a 1-1 record with a 3.8 ERA in 16 games pitched. 1979, he would split time between St. Louis and their AAA affiliate, and the same would be said about 1980. Well, after the 1980 season, the Oakland A's would select him in the Rule 5 draft. Well, he would not pitch in the majors for Oakland. He would spend the entire year in AAA, spending time as a spot starter and a reliever. And then, after the 1981 season, he would be traded to the Seattle Mariners for a couple minor league players. He would spend the entire 1982 season in AAA for the Mariners. However, at 30 years old in 1983, he would get an opportunity to pitch out of the bullpen for the Mariners, where he's posted a 3-1 record with a 3.45 ERA. Well, the following year, he was in the Mariners bullpen. However, he struggled a little bit and had to go down to the minor leagues for 7 games. In 1985, he actually posted one of his best seasons to date at 32 years old, where he went 7 wins and 0 losses with a 3.36 ERA in 40 appearances for the Mariners in 1985. In 1986, soreness in his elbow returned, an injury that he had been dealing with over the last couple of years, and basically he missed the entire season with elbow tendonitis in 1986. After the 86 season, the Mariners released him, but they did invite him back as a non-roster invitee. He earned a spot in AAA again for the Mariners and was brought to the majors in late June. In 1987, he would spend the bulk of the year in AAA. However, he would get a chance to appear in 8 games that year for the Mariners. After the 87 season, he more or less retired from baseball, However, in 1990, he attempted to make a comeback with the Milwaukee Brewers. However, they never called him up to the majors, and he spent 7 games in AAA for the Brewers before he retired at the age of 37. An interesting note, according to his Wikipedia page, in 419 innings, Thomas never once made an error, so he has a 1,000 fielding percentage as a pitcher. After his affiliated work, he played in the senior league from 1989 to 1990 until the league folded in the 1990 season. After baseball, he retired and actually became a math teacher in Washington State. He retired in October of 2017 from being a math teacher, and he retired to Las Vegas, Nevada. So this was postmarked from Las Vegas, so I'm very happy to add Mr. Thomas to the collection. But these 3 senior league cards are definitely a great addition to the collection. So we'll move on to the next one. All right, this next one's postmarked from Florida, and most likely if you're a Mets fan, you're going to really like this one. And it's a return from former New York Mets manager Terry Collins on 1, 2, 3, and a 4th. And I know he has major league cards, and I think I have 1 or 2 of them, like the Topps cards or whatever. However, I happened to get this set recently, and you'll be seeing that in an episode soon. And it has various signatures. I bought the set with autographs in it, and I noticed there was a Terry Collins, so I sent it to him and asked him to sign. I also happen to have oodles of minor league cards from that era, so these are all, I don't have these sets, but I have singles from these sets. So I put them all together, stuck them in the mail, and I got them back. So let me tell you a little about Terry Collins and his playing career, but more importantly, his managerial career. Collins attended college at Eastern Michigan University, where he played shortstop for 4 years for Eastern Michigan. In 1971, Eastern Michigan won the NAIA National Championship, and he won the honor of being the best defensive player of the tournament. And after the 71 season, Collins was drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates. He spent 10 years in the minor leagues from 1970 to 78, and then from 1980 to 84 as a player coach in the Dodgers and the Pirates organization. In total, he appeared in 671 games and had a lifetime .255 batting average in his minor league playing career. In 1981, as a player coach, Collins coached the Class A affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers. By 1983, he was coaching their AAA affiliate and also coaching in the Mexican League during the winter seasons. After his time with the Dodgers, he moved on to Buffalo, New York, coaching for the Pittsburgh Pirates AAA affiliate, which is all of these basically. Well, actually, that's an Albuquerque card, so that's his Dodgers card. But these are him with the Pirates organization. And in his 3 years with Buffalo, he won 246 games. He was then promoted to the bullpen coach at the major league level with the Pittsburgh Pirates from 1992 to 93. Well, after the 93 season, he was brought on board by the Houston Astros to replace Art Howe, who had been let go. And from 1994, 95, and 96, Collins managed the Astros, compiling a record of 224 wins and 197 losses as their tenure. After the 1996 season, he was let go by the Astros. Less than a month after being dismissed by the Astros, Collins was hired as the manager of the Anaheim Angels for the 97 season. His record with the Angels was 220 and 237 after he was let go in 1999. It doesn't really say what he did from 1999 to 2005, but in 2006 to 2009, he decided to go overseas and manage the Oryx Buffaloes of the Pacific League in the Japanese Baseball League. In the 2009 World Baseball Classic, the Chinese national team was actually managed by Terry Collins. After the World Baseball Classic, he returned stateside and coached for the Duluth Huskies, finishing up the year in 2009 in the Northwoods League. Collins spent the 2010 season as the minor league field coordinator for the New York Mets. After the 2010 season, Collins was introduced as the new Mets manager, getting a 2-year deal in November 2010. He would manage the Mets all the way through the 2017 season. He would actually manage his 1,013th game, which is the most in the history of the New York Mets. He finished his career with the Mets with the second most wins in the franchise behind Davey Johnson. Collins retired as a manager after the 2017 season, however stayed in an active role in the front office, working as a special assistant to the general manager. I'm not sure if he still works for the Mets in that role, because he has relocated to Florida. Maybe he's involved with the Mets, in their spring training facilities or scouting or something. But very happy to add these to the collection. Terry Collins was a good manager for many years. I'm very happy to get back Mr. Hudson as well in this return, as well as adding more senior league cards in this awesome quad rookie card to the collection. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode. I look forward to your comments below. Thanks.